load on my shoulder. I dial it in from south of the border.
Some songs slip through the cracks of memory, even for the people who lived through them. Generation X grew up with a soundtrack so vast that even devoted fans cannot hold on to every track that once mattered. Tonight, we revisit 12 forgotten gems from that era. If lost music history interests you, consider subscribing so you never miss a video like this one. Number 12. Voices Carried by 'Til Tuesday. In the spring of 1985, a young woman with a peroxide rat tail haircut stood in Carnegie Hall and shouted a single phrase that broke through every radio in America. Aimee Mann had spent years grinding through the Boston club circuit before her band 'Til Tuesday landed a major label deal. The song climbed the charts, the video became an MTV staple, and the chorus burrowed into the collective memory of an entire generation. And then it vanished. Aimee Mann went on to a respected solo career, but the band itself faded so completely that even longtime fans struggle to name another 'Til Tuesday song. The hook still surfaces in commercials and karaoke nights, yet the group behind it has drifted into the margins of 1980s nostalgia. Number 11. Take the Skinheads Bowling by Camper Van Beethoven.
Take the skinheads bowling, take them bowling.
1985 again, this time on a college campus in California. A scruffy band with a violin player and a sense of humor about everything recorded a song that became a cult anthem on alternative radio. The lyrics made almost no literal sense, which was precisely the point. It was absurdist, jangly, and impossible to ignore once you heard it.
Had a dream last night about you, my friend.
Camper Van Beethoven represented a strain of 1980s indie rock that valued strangeness over polish. Frontman David Lowery later found mainstream success with Cracker, and the original band itself has reunited periodically over the years. Still, the song that started it all rarely turns up on retrospective playlists, leaving even devoted fans of the era squinting at the title.
Some people say the bowling alleys copy claims.
Number 10. Cuts You Up by Peter Murphy. The former voice of Bauhaus walked into the 1990s with a song that felt like a dark hymn for the changing decade. It topped the modern rock charts for an extended run and became one of the defining alternative tracks of that early period. The voice was unmistakable, the production lush and theatrical, and the song seemed destined for permanent rotation.
Through the zero I will walk. Well, it cuts the thick and break the thick.
Then grunge arrived, and Peter Murphy was quickly filed under the previous era. Bauhaus retained its gothic legend, but his solo peak slid into obscurity. Today, the song lives mostly in the memories of college radio devotees and former goth kids who still own the cassette single. A whole subgenre rose and fell around tracks like this one, and most listeners never noticed. Number 9. Birdhouse in Your Soul by They Might Be Giants. A song narrated from the perspective of a nightlight, written by two men from Brooklyn who shared the same first name. It charted internationally in 1990, landed on alternative radio everywhere, and represented one of the strangest crossover hits of the era. The chorus was bright, the lyrics were dense with literary references, and the whole thing felt like nothing else on the radio. They Might Be Giants kept making music for decades, eventually scoring children's albums, and television theme songs. But this particular track, once unavoidable, has slipped out of the rotation of 1990 nostalgia compilations. Fans who can quote every word of it are routinely surprised to find younger listeners and even peers drawing a complete blank. Loving this trip back through forgotten gems? Drop a comment and let us know where you're watching from, and tell us which song from this list you remember most vividly. We always read through your stories about the music that shaped your years. Number 8. Pictures of You by The Cure. Robert Smith's band gave the world many songs that endured, But this particular ballad from the 1989 album Disintegration tends to be eclipsed by its more famous siblings. Love Song and Friday, I'm in Love still appear constantly in films and commercials, while this slower, more devastating track gets pushed to the background. It runs more than 7 minutes in its album form, a slow ache of guitar and longing.
So drowned, you were angels, so much more than everything.
Longtime fans consider it among the finest songs the band ever recorded. Casual listeners, who can hum half a dozen Cure tracks, often forget this one entirely. It is one of those entries in a celebrated catalog that gets quietly overshadowed by louder neighbors, and rediscovering it as an adult feels like opening a letter you forgot you ever wrote.
And you finally found all your courage to let it all go.
Number 7. Sister Christian by Night Ranger. The song everyone hums during the chorus, and almost no one credits correctly. Released in 1984, this power ballad climbed into the top 10 and became one of the defining moments of a particular kind of arena rock. The drummer wrote it about his actual younger sister, whose name was Christy. The misheard title stuck anyway. For a brief stretch, it was inescapable. Then, Night Ranger became one of those bands whose name draws blank stares while their song plays in the background of a roadside diner. The Boogie Nights film placed it inside one of the most tense scenes in 1990s cinema, which renewed interest briefly, but the band itself remains a footnote for most listeners who once owned the album on cassette. Number 6. I Melt With You by Modern English. 1982 gave Generation X one of its most enduring teenage anthems, a song that has been licensed for commercials, films, and television so many times that most people assume it was a massive hit. In truth, it never cracked the top 40 on its initial release in the United States. Its legend grew through endless cultural reuse, including a memorable placement in the film Valley Girl. Modern English released other material that found modest audiences, but the band itself drifted into obscurity even as this single song lived on. Fans who heard them on college radio in the early 1980s remember a fuller catalog. Everyone else remembers exactly one chorus, and very rarely the name of the band behind it. Number 5. Save It for Later by The English Beat. A jangly, melancholic song wrapped inside an upbeat arrangement, released in 1982 by one of the most influential British two-tone bands. Pete Townsend of The Who became such a devoted admirer that he covered it in his own live shows for years. Eddie Vedder later sang it during Pearl Jam concerts. The song has a quiet pedigree that vastly outweighs its public memory. The English Beat splintered into other projects, including General Public and Fine Young Cannibals, both of which produced their own hits. The original band has reunited in various forms over the years, but this particular song lives mostly in the memories of devoted fans and the cover versions of more famous musicians who never forgot it. Number 4. Mexican Radio by Wall of Voodoo.
Can't understand just what does he say. I'm on a Mexican.
A strange, twangy, almost spoken word track that arrived in 1983 and became briefly inescapable on MTV. Stan Ridgway's deadpan delivery, set against a hypnotic synthesizer pulse, created something that sounded like a Western film score colliding with new wave.
Talking on the DJ. Can't understand just what does he say. I'm on a Mexican radio.
The music video featured a man with his head inside a bowl of beans, which somehow only added to its appeal. Wall of Voodoo never produced another song that reached the same audience. The band continued without Ridgway for several more years, and he went on to a respected solo career. But this song, once a defining oddity of early MTV, has gradually faded from the playlists of 1980s retrospectives. Mention it to someone who lived through that year and watch their face change.
I'm on a Mexican radio.
Number 3. Don't Change by INXS. Before Need You Tonight and Kick made INXS into global superstars, the Australian band recorded a soaring, optimistic anthem in 1982 that defined their earlier sound. It became a cornerstone of their live performances and a favorite among devoted fans, but it never received the radio saturation that their later hits enjoyed.
Don't change here. Don't change a thing.
Michael Hutchence' voice on this track carries a different kind of urgency than his later work. The song appears in films and television shows occasionally, often as a marker of a particular emotional turning point. Most casual listeners who can name 3 INXS hits cannot name this one, even though many longtime fans consider it among the band's most genuinely moving recordings. Number 2, Just Like Heaven by Dinosaur Jr. The original by The Cure is widely remembered. The cover version, recorded by Dinosaur Jr. in 1989, became a touchstone for an entire wave of alternative rock that followed. J Mascis took a romantic song and ran it through layers of distortion, ending it abruptly with a primal scream that signaled where guitar music was headed in the next decade. For a brief window, this cover was on every college radio playlist in the country. It influenced bands who would later define the 1990s. Robert Smith himself reportedly admired the version. Today it surfaces occasionally on alternative deep-cut collections, but most Generation X listeners who lived through its initial rise have allowed it to slip from active memory, even when they remember the original perfectly. Number 1, Our House by Madness. A warm, brass-driven song about working-class British family life, released in 1982. It became one of the few American hits for the beloved English ska pop band, climbing into the top 10 and capturing something universal about chaotic households and the love that held them together. The song has appeared in commercials, films, and countless montages over the decades. Madness remained enormously popular in the United Kingdom, but in America, the band quietly slipped from view after this single moment of crossover success. The song endures as a feel-good standard, often without anyone recalling the cheerful 7-piece band who made it. For those who lived through that era, hearing it again feels like opening a window onto a house you almost forgot you knew.